I'm not your gossip girl, I'm the headline. Truth with a curve, baby, redefine. Welcome to the thirst trap. All the truth looks good in a tight wrap. We talk love, power, so let's in. Turn the world on, let the light in. Yeah, the thirst trap news. You'll drink it up, it's the real you. They've been trying to first world news, where every headline's a revelation.
Hey everybody, I'm alive and well. I was battling a cold, and Instagram Meta is like fake and gay because they have me throttled on a cool down period for an unknown length of time, they say. And I'm telling you, I have gone back and forth with them like 12 emails, and no one knows how their algorithm works. They're like, we don't know how long your cooldown period is, but you can't comment and you can't just leave your account dormant. So we are here on Rumble, which I was going to take a little bit to get used to because I'm on Rumble only. But nonetheless, I got a banger for you tonight. Let's get into it. What we are witnessing right now is not just scandal. It's not just corruption. And it's not simply powerful people behaving badly. This is alignment, believe it or not. The Epstein files, along with emails, testimonies, and open admissions, don't merely expose abuse. They reveal belief systems, worldviews, and most importantly, spiritual allegiances. We are seeing in plain sight that many of the people who shape culture, politics, and entertainment do not worship God at all. They worship power. They worship darkness. They worship a demon. Some of them say it openly, through symbolism, through ritual language, through acts that defile innocence. And that forces us to confront a terrifying question. What if this evil isn't meant to be stopped, only revealed? The Bible does not tell us that humanity will protest its way out of the last days. It does not promise that petitions, elections, or movements will halt what is happening or what is coming. It tells us something far more unsettling, that the rise of ultimate deception must occur before the final judgment. Scripture is clear. The Antichrist does not arrive in a vacuum, friends. He is summoned, not by accident, not by ignorance, but through alignment with darkness, through the corruption of power, and through the inversion of moral law. Armageddon cannot come until that figure is brought forth. And that is why this evil persists. That is why there will always be people in power protecting these monsters. That is why there will always be systems that let the guilty walk free. That is why exposure does not lead to repentance, but escalation. This is not a failure of justice. It is prophecy moving forward on a metaphysical timeline. You can call it spiritual law. You can call it quantum inevitability. You can call it destiny written outside of linear time. But the result is the same. Darkness must fully reveal itself before it can be judged. The rituals, the symbolism, the obsession with control over the innocent, these are not random perversions. In theological terms, they are attempts to mirror creation itself, to mock God, to generate power through inversion. That is what demon worship has always been. Rebellion masquerading as enlightenment. And here's the part that shakes people. We cannot stop this by force. There is no protest large enough, no revolution pure enough, no human authority capable of interrupting a prophecy written beyond human jurisdiction. Trying to stop it externally misses the point entirely, because the real battle was never about governments. It was never about celebrities. It's never even been about these wicked individuals themselves. It's about where your soul stands when the final choice is presented. The Bible tells us there will come a moment when neutrality is impossible, when every soul must choose alignment, light or dark, truth or deception, God or the counterfeit. And that choice will not be made in panic. It will be made based on who you have been becoming all along. That is why now, right now, is the time to draw closer to God than ever before. Not out of fear, but out of clarity. Man can take your freedom. Man can imprison your body. Man can even take your life. But man cannot judge your soul. That authority belongs to God and God alone. Whether we face that judgment after death or stand alive when Armageddon arrives, every one of us will be refined by fire, and only what is rooted in truth will remain. So do not fret, do not despair, and do not waste your energy believing you were meant to stop what is foretold. You were meant to prepare, to stay set apart from the rest of the world. Clean your life up. Repent. Not performatively, but honestly. Invite the Holy Spirit to work you like clay, stripping away what is false and shaping what is eternal. Because while darkness is loud right now, it's loud because it is being exposed. And exposure always precedes judgment. The end of this age will not belong to the wicked. It will belong to those who chose the light, long before they were forced to. Choose wisely, choose deliberately, and choose God, because prophecy is unfolding and the time for preparation is now. Okay, well, there you have it. I thought it was important to express that what we're watching is Bible prophecy unfolding. This is literally everything that's coming out in the Epstein files, all of this stuff. I wish I could say I was shocked, but unfortunately, since, my bloodline has kept me aware of the truth of what the elites are doing, they literally are trying to bring about the Antichrist. And this was foretold in the Bible. So, that's why I thought it important to say, there's no picket line or protest that's going to stop this, no judicial system. It's all part of the prophecy, the coming of the Antichrist. These people are serving their destiny. They are serving divine purpose by bringing forth the Antichrist, because Armageddon cannot come until that Antichrist appears. So, how are all of you doing? I don't have Instagram going. I am being throttled on Instagram. I am being put on a timeout. If I was a liberal, I'm sure this wouldn't be happening. So if you want to interact with me, you got to chit-chat in Rumble. I cannot see if you're there. I don't know who is there until you actually put a chat in the, and interact with me. So yeah, that's kind of new. So we'll be doing Rumble only for hopefully only 7 days. Meta and everyone who works there says they have no idea how long this cool off period will be. And I cannot use my account in any way as to not reset the cooldown period. So I can scroll on it, but the only thing that's restricted, even though my account is in totally perfect good health. I'm a good citizen on Meta. I think, it's my content, and I have had like 4 or 5 videos that I posted in one day go viral. And they said that the reason why I'm on this cooldown is because of being suspected of being a bot, even though they know it's real. I'm real. And there was no bot activity happening. So yes, please feel free to say hello in the chat in Rumble so I know who is there, because we're using Rumble Studio and I can't really see. All right. How did you enjoy the weather? I don't know if it's warming up for you guys, but it's starting to warm up here for me. I'm going to have to eat dinner while we're on the show. So sorry in advance for making you watch me stuff my face. But your girl cannot get hangry. Because getting hangry is like a real thing for me. Embarrassingly so. My kids would shove candy bars in my face when I was getting hangry. But as soon as production comes over, we will get started in videos. Epstein. Oh boy. Wow. I've spent some hours going through that. It's atrocious. I think we might have found JonBenet Ramsey. Madeline, I think her name's McCain. I wonder how many of these people have gone missing that we know about that have actually, that this is explained by Epstein's activities. So, without further ado, let's get started in our first video. Oh, I gotta give you the menu. Oh my God. All right. That's what I'm a little rusty. I haven't been on for 7 days, so I forgot what I'm doing. Please forgive me. I hope you're here and thirsty for lots of good shit or bad shit. Shit. It's just shit. General shit. All right. What's on the menu? Was Epstein behind JonBenet Ramsey? Mondani's mommy at Epstein's parties? What? Listen to Epstein's niece, Madeleine McCann, rabbit hole, Epstein and housing, new Epstein files released. Listen to this former CIA. Are the Epstein files just gossip? Are you the devil himself? Epstein and transgender ideology. Dr. Peter Attia was a bad boy. Elon Musk was a simp for Epstein. Epstein and the goy. Listen to Epstein's niece talk about bail. Deeper dive into bail, which, by the way, correct pronunciation is Baal. So there's actually a dot between the two A's in the Semitic language. So it's Baal or Baal, depending on your dialect. Candace on Erika's lies. Erika's wild history of fame. Erika's leaked Zoom call. And I will show you my merch store. And of course, fan of the day. But seeing as how quiet my Rumble folk usually are, we might not have a fan of the day. Maybe you guys could step it up on this show, knowing we don't have a secondary audience over in the metaverse. I will open up the caller hotline every 5 videos or so. Again, we shall see. You guys are a quiet, shy bunch on Rumble. I don't know why that is, but I encourage you to come out of your shell. I don't bite. But anyhow, first video was Epstein behind JonBenet Ramsey while I stuff my face. All right, let's go.
This is a photo of JonBenet on the Boulder Police Department website. See the jumper?
Mm-hmm.
This is a photo of Jeffrey in 1997, 1 year after JonBenet's body was found. See that he has gray hair? This is an actual Epstein file that you can find on the government website.
I can't pause instantly.
The number's on the screen.
Can I pause?
See the
So I verified all of this. I have combed through these files, friends. That is the file number. That is the photo. You actually have to zoom in on the photo because it's a far away shot. But it's interesting to me because clearly she wasn't abducted in this outfit. She was taken from her bed. There's another photo of a girl in jammies that looks suspiciously like JonBenet. But I find it incredibly disturbing that this picture of her, knowing the photo that they put out for JonBenet looking for her, was in the overalls and the white shirt. And it seems almost like he put her back in those clothes on purpose to like a trophy. This is up in his house. It's like a trophy. Like, this is a picture going around that shows it's her. This is my little trophy. It's disturbing.
The jumper? Do you see the blonde hair on the little girl? Do you see that Jeffrey has gray hair?
Mm-hmm.
This is a comment I got on Instagram on a post on the same topic. I'll give you a second to read it. This is the very next Epstein file after the Epstein file I just showed you.
Mm-hmm.
And the file number for this one is on the screen as well. Who is she? Mm-hmm. Who is that little girl?
I think we have some
Release
answers.
The damn files. This is a photo of JonBenet on the...
So bad for her family. I wonder if her family has seen this video. You never want to like re-traumatize victims, but I know as a parent myself who did not know where my daughter was up until recently, you never settle until you find them. So I wonder if their natural curiosity for the Epstein files and just knowing the connection to pageantry and Epstein, which, by the way, Erika Kirk, we'll get into that. So Erika Kirk was a big pageant girl. She ran did some work with an orphanage over in whatever European I don't know if it was Romania, somewhere like that. It's just really interesting to me. So I'm just going to let that sit on your brain until we get to the Erika stuff. But yeah. And like I said, when we get into the Baal stuff, the thing about demons, when you summon demons are they're there to do whatever you ask them to. It could be malevolent things, it could be benevolent things, but that's what makes them, that's why they can come across confusing as angels sometimes, because they're kind of just like, yeah, I'll do this thing if it serves my purpose here. They're kind of just out for themselves. And adrenalized blood from children, historically through the eras, has been a high value commodity. So as we go through this, we'll make some connections. I feel like I should do like an episode, kind of like explaining satanic rituals on my subscriber only shows. There's a lot of misconceptions about Satanism, people that go to the Church of Satan, and it's definitely something I think is worth clarifying. Hey, Pocket, because, well, maybe I should leave an Easter egg there. Like I said, it can be good or bad things that they participate in, and there's a difference between Satan and the devil. I'll put it there. And not condoning anything. I'm just saying education is power, especially when it comes to sorting through why is all this going on? What is going on? Can we stop this from going on? So let's continue. Interesting how, Mom Donnie came out of fucking nowhere, and all of a sudden he's like, fucking socialist superstar. It's like, okay. And the guy never had a job in his life. It just seemed like he fucked around his whole entire life, on camera. And all of a sudden, he's the mayor of New York. How does that happen? Next video, Mom Donnie's mommy at Epstein parties. Which, by the way, I'll just have you note, in the Epstein files, eugenics was practiced, and he forced a lot of women to have his babies. He forced a lot of females to get pregnant for sacrificial reasons, allegedly. And it's kind of funny. So where did Mom Donnie come from? It's kind of funny that she got a baby at a party. You know, why you got this baby around Epstein? Next video.
I did not see this coming. The new Epstein drop reveals that New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani's mom not just attended one of Ghislaine Maxwell's parties, but she had one thrown in her honor. Mamdani's mom, Mira Nair, is a filmmaker, and this was an after party at Ghislaine Maxwell's house to celebrate her movie Amelia. We know this from a 2009 email that was sent from publicist Peggy Siegel directly to Jeffrey Epstein. And this party was in 2009, months after Jeffrey Epstein pled guilty and was convicted for procuring a minor for prostitution and soliciting prostitution. So it's not like he was known in New York as just some successful businessman at this point. In the email, it revealed that Bill Clinton was at this party and Jeff Bezos before his glow up. It makes you wonder if this is the reason that Trump has been pretty supportive of Zohran Mamdani as New York City mayor. I mean, maybe he used to party with his mom. As always, I want to hear what you think about all of this down below. I did not see this coming.
Now you know why Mr. Mamdani all of a sudden got famous, all of a sudden became powerful. You know, who's your daddy, Zohran? That's what I want to know. Who the hell is your daddy? It'd be good to know. I wonder if we could find out from 23andMe. Remember all that going on? You should watch Candace Owens' latest episode she did today. A lot of really interesting stuff when it comes to Epstein she covered, especially with the whole DNA collection through 23andMe and all that. All right. This video I have seen. This is really compelling. Listen to Epstein's niece.
I am Jeff Epstein's niece. My father and stepmother had a baby girl in 1991 who was raised by another family. In 1998, they assigned me her birth date on my birth certificate, which they waited 10 years to file, claiming my stepmother was my biological mother, and finally put me in school in the gifted program. You know, my parents were upstanding citizens. My father was a divorcee.
There's that gifted program connection. So Charlie Kirk was in a gifted program, and I'll tell you what. When you're in a gifted program, you are definitely watched by the government. If you're an elite and you're a gatekeeper, you are going to invite these Mensa crowd people, these gifted people. Either they're going to be enemy, friend or foe. Join us or we destroy you.
Attorney. It goes back for generations. I remember my father confessing that my oldest brother is 8 years younger than him. They told me that we belonged to the cult.
Her oldest brother is 8 years younger than their father. Let that sink in. I would have assumed 8-year-olds were shooting blanks. Now, I'm going to let this video play, and I'm going to open up to you guys about a personal story. The reason why I'm going to open up about it is because it's pertaining to my grandfather. He has passed away, and so has my grandmother, so I'm going to talk about it. I'm sorry to my family if this pisses anybody off, but it's in any of my family to say this story, but it's going to matter at the end of this video.
Of ball. My great-grandfather, according to my father, was Walt Disney. Before he moved to the United States, his name was Artur Bick. And his twin sister, who he had children with, who I am descended from, was named Minnie. That's where we get Mickey and Minnie Mouse. It's very cute, right? Except for when you consider...
They're just destroying my childhood here, man.
the abuse that I suspect is still happening to children who go into the entertainment industry. I am Jeff Epstein's niece.
I'm going to open up to you guys about something personal here. I 100% believe this woman. I'll tell you why. As I've shared with a lot of you, my grandfather, my family on my dad's side were descendants of Freemasons. My father and grandfather, my grandfather left it to protect my father. My father at the time was the last of that direct family group, male. My grandfather, all right, who his great uncle was a vice president of the United States, was sent to another uncle's house to live. There was a barn on the property, and him and his sister, my grandfather's sister, who wasn't much younger than him, were kept in this barn. Lived to live in this barn. And they were forced to perform sex acts together, starting at the ages of 3 and 4 or 4 and 5. I can confirm to you that this is a ritualistic thing. I am a descendant of incestuous relations on my dad's side. They like to keep property and money within the family. So his wife, my grandmother, her grandparents were half brother and sister. It was a very common thing when it comes to the elites and the devil's church, if you will. And thank God for my grandfather having left the Freemasons. I don't know what my life would be if he hadn't. But because of that, I know I've been, marked and watched and all that stuff. And, in any way they can make my life difficult, they will. So, I'm on this weird throttling. Oh, Meta, isn't that funny? All right. I am going to take a moment to read a message here from our friends at Rumble Wallet. All right. They can freeze your accounts, shut off your cards, lock you out of your own money overnight. Banks don't protect you. They control you. That's why real financial freedom starts with ownership. Introducing Rumble Wallet, a non-custodial wallet built for people who refuse to give up control. With Rumble Wallet, you don't just buy digital currency like Bitcoin and Tether. You can own Tether Gold, real gold, on the blockchain. Through Tether Gold, you get direct ownership of physical gold bars, each one fully allocated, verifiable by serial number, purity, and weight. This isn't paper gold. This isn't an IOU. This is real gold without bank vaults, storage fees, or gatekeepers. You can buy, sell, or move it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even when traditional gold markets are closed. And if you want, Tether Gold can be redeemed for physical gold. That's power. And when you support creators on Rumble, you can tip them directly using Rumble Wallet peer-to-peer and outside the banking system. No permissions, no middlemen, no cancel button. This wallet is yours forever. All right. Thank you for your patience. We are now joining. Hello, Johnny Boy. Thank you guys for commenting in the Rumble chat. I cannot use Instagram because they are throttling me for being a truth teller. The juice boxes, the zebras, are after me. They said, "Oh, we just suspect you for being a bot." Yeah, sure, whatever. So yeah, what this girl said is absolutely tracks with the stories that my family have told me and explanations they have given me. It's kind of a relief for me to hear her say this because it just sounds so crazy that I went a lot of my life like not knowing what to believe. Oh my God, something is stuck to my eye really bad and it's poking me in the eyeball. It all sounded so crazy, and sometimes I'd look at my dad like, sure, but nope, my dad was right about everything my dad told me in the God's on. My dad was not a liar, and he refused to talk about his childhood. There were things I could get out of him, but most of the answers I got after he died in terms of, just my grandfather, because I wanted to know like what was up with my grandfather. There was just something about him that just didn't add up. He was so cold. And that's when my aunties were like, well, this is why he keeps his distance, because when he was 4 years old, his definition of familial boundaries was destroyed. So it caused a lot of problems for my grandfather and our family. But this woman, I believe, is telling 100% the truth. I believe her. All right. Let's get down the Madeleine McCann rabbit hole. Let's see our next video.
I went down a rabbit hole, and it messed me up good. Do you remember Madeleine McCann? The little 3-year-old girl who was vacationing with her family at a Portuguese resort in May 2007, and they left her sleeping in the Airbnb, and someone took her. And she was never seen again.
Do y'all remember that documentary? It was on Netflix.
So in 2009...
No, she wasn't alone. The way this woman says it is kind of inaccurate. It's cold. It's okay, I don't want any more. I'm talking with my mouth full. Please forgive me. I'm not being much of a lady. What do you expect with all these tats, right? She wasn't alone. She was asleep with the other kids in the house, asleep. So there was like a group of them. It was a group, like a family reunion kind of thing. And they went to eat on the resort. So like the hotel room was in short walking distance. And they left all of the children like asleep in the house. So there was like a collection of them. So she wasn't, I guess you could think, I could see how a parent would make a mistake thinking that their kid is safe because older kids are there and we're just going to go eat. It's right down the steps over here. It's on the resort. It'll be fine. We'll lock the door, blah, blah, blah. But this is why I never left my kids. My kids, you cannot let your kids out of your sight. Ever. Never let your children out of your sight. That's something my mother and grandmother taught me, and I followed it to a T.
This person was the lead suspect. Okay, the sketch is being held by a family representative.
See that? Who did you think of? I'm going to give y'all a second. When you saw that sketch, did anyone come to mind? It did for me instantly, and I couldn't believe when I saw the documentary 3 years ago or 4 years ago that it didn't click to me. But Epstein wasn't being talked about like this as much. I mean, it was, you had to seek it out. You had to seek out the Epstein stuff. Here we go.
Now look.
Look at that.
What if?
Oh.
What if?
Oh. Now, you guys got to watch a documentary on Rumble called Never in America. I think I mentioned it on my last show a week ago. The CPS and DCFS system is one of the main apparatuses the government uses to sexually traffic children. 80% of DCFS cases where children are taken out of the home have no basis for those kids to be taken out. They're illegitimate. And of those children are all going to gay families. Why is that a thing? Well, most children adoption agencies are run privately by church groups. They're never going to adopt out to gay families. But you know who will? The state. So all the gay people go to the state to adopt these children. And these children are being assaulted. The documentary, let me see if I can find the name of it really quick. Let me look at my history. My watch history. Let me see. Never in America, Unmasking CPS Empire. Watch that. If you want something to light you up and a new pet project to fight against, watch that. Because that is the number one mode the government is using to traffic children. And there are story after story. And I've been following this CPS scandal for now about 6 years, since I was running 5-6 years. Because of another story that had gotten some traction with a hospital in like the Clearwater, Tampa, St. Petersburg, somewhere area, where the director of the hospital was just like making it rain, children, to sending them to DCFS. And these mothers, so this one case got a lot of notoriety because she couldn't get help, and she knew if this is sad, she unalived herself after they kept her daughter for 3 months because she didn't feel like she was going to get any attention unless she killed herself, the mom. And the mom was a nurse at a hospital. And the government is not here to protect us. They view us as cattle. And if you think paying taxes is a good idea, God bless you. I'm still trying to figure out that fundamental issue for myself. It's on Rumble, Johnny. All right.
I went down a rabbit hole and it messed.
Okay. Next. Epstein and housing.
If you want the Epstein files and an affordable home, listen to this. In 2000, there was a company named Liquid Funding LTE that was founded. It was founded in Bermuda and was known as a shell company. A shell company is when a real company buys a fake company in order to hide assets from their public shareholders. The company that did this was named Bear Stearns. Bear Stearns is a bank that fell on March 2008. It was the first domino that fell.
So this is the housing crisis. It's 2008. Thank you, Bill Clinton. There's a documentary, actually, not a documentary, interview that's out on YouTube right now. It's uncut, unedited, that Steve Bannon did with Epstein, where Epstein actually talks about exactly what this fella is talking about.
That created the housing market crash. Okay, check this out. So, Bear Stearns buys Liquid Funding Ltd. They utilize it as a shell company to hide what's called CMOs. They had toxic CMOs, toxic mortgages, subprime mortgages that they need reorganized, and they need them reorganized in a way that they could sell them back off as good mortgages.
Got some
so
big eyeballs.
What Liquid Funding did is they took all the mortgages from Bear Stearns for the most part, and reshuffled them into new decks. Imagine they had all these playing cards out on the floor and they were upside down and folded up and wet and weird. And their job was to dry clean, unfold, reorganize, and repackage a nice new deck they could sell off and make it look good. But in reality, it was like a financial ticking time bomb. This financial ticking time bomb led to the 2008 housing market crash. Bear Stearns was the first big domino that fell to cause it. And the chairman in charge of creating the collateralized mortgage obligations for Bear Stearns that inevitably were sold back out into the public banking market that caused the great financial crisis of 2008, their chairman was none other than Jeffrey Epstein. And if that doesn't grind your gears, I don't know what will. If you want the
It turns out Mr. Financier wasn't so good at financiering. But that was all just a cloak. You know, his real business was that of human torture, trafficking, and sacrifice. Allegedly. I don't even want to say allegedly. I mean, it's in his emails. It's like literally in there. They're like literally talking about it. I've never seen so many adults love pizza to the amount that they love pizza. I mean, I like pizza. But I grew out of my pizza obsession about 30 years ago. All right, maybe 20 years ago. I ate a lot of pizza in college. But I damn sure didn't talk about it. I was not emailing people talking about my pizza all the time. So it's very clear to me that this pizza gate is absolutely true. But yeah, let me watch this video again because it's a little hard to digest.
Epstein files and an affordable.
His very froggish eyeballs were distracting me. No offense, Mr. Zachary, but you should have left the shades on.
Home. Listen to this. In 2000, there was a company named Liquid Funding LTE that was founded. It was founded in Bermuda and was known as a shell company. A shell company is when a real company buys a fake company in order to hide assets from their public shareholders. The company that did this was named Bear Stearns. Bear Stearns is a bank that fell on March 2008. It was the first domino that fell that created the housing market crash. Okay, check this out. So, Bear Stearns buys Liquid Funding Ltd. They utilize it as a shell company to hide what's called CMOs. They had toxic CMOs, toxic mortgages, subprime mortgages
So your girl is in mortgage school right now, so I actually understand this.
they need reorganized, and they need them reorganized in a way that they could sell them back off as good mortgages. So what Liquid Funding did is they took all the mortgages from Bear Stearns for the most part and reshuffled them into new decks. Imagine they had all these playing cards out on the floor and they were upside down and folded up and wet and weird. And their job was to dry clean, unfold, reorganize, and repackage a nice new deck they could sell off and make it look good. But in reality, it was like a financial ticking time bomb.
Epstein claims in his interview with Steve Bannon, Steve Bannon was really rude to him, actually, because this was after he got out of, I guess, jail the first time. And anyway, he was saying, he was blaming it on Clinton wanting votes and stuff, you know, so like he made it really easy for underprivileged, basically people who didn't qualify. What this guy say is like people who couldn't qualify for a mortgage, they were qualifying for, they were just stamping approved on it, I think.
This financial ticking time bomb led to the 2008 housing market crash. Bear Stearns was the first big domino that fell to cause it. And the chairman in charge of creating the collateralized mortgage obligations for Bear Stearns that inevitably were sold back out into the public banking market that caused the great financial crisis of 2008, their chairman was none other than Jeffrey Epstein.
God, look at Jeffrey Epstein's face. Good God, man. I could not imagine having that thing pawing at me. Ugh. Oh, God. Those poor fucking girls. Ugh. It's in Weinstein too. It's always the nastiest people like that want to rape you. Like, why can't Henry Cavill like want to? Yeah, I guess you can't rape the willing. Just kidding. JK, producer Ryan. JK. Oh, Stephen Hawking. Yeah. Oh, that's sad too. Just saying though. If Ryan and I were to have hall passes, Henry Cavill would be my hall pass. I would advocate for it strongly. I would let Ryan have a hall pass. He said it would also be Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill is so beautiful that even men are like, yeah, I get it. I totally understand. You know? But yeah, Epstein, look at his eyes. Look at how dark they are. And Johnny, they're like definitely soulless. He's the devil. He is a devil. All right, I am going to open the hotline. What? What you pointing at? What are you? Okay. Oh, production's point. Oh, no, I can't yet. I don't think. 4 minutes. I have to read an ad. All right. The hotline is now open if production wants to key up the phone number. It is 904-530-1422 if you want to call and have a chitty chat with me about all this stuff coming out in the Epstein files. I know you guys got a lot to say about that. Y'all really can't be too shy to call. I mean, there's just so much stuff going on. I want to talk about it. Maybe share some of the stuff you've found. Okay. Johnny Boy is gunning hard to be fan of the day because he's the only one brave enough to talk to me tonight. I don't know why Rumble is, y'all are so quiet in Rumble. I don't know who's there unless y'all talk. Is our little Wi-Fi thing booster plugged in? Okay, perfect. Okay. So I'm going to put the call number in the chat and pin it, but I periodically put it on disturb and do not disturb, so that way it doesn't like blast ringing at the wrong times. So hey Jack, how you doing? All right, so there's the hotline, the listener caller hotline if you want to call me and have a chat. I hope you've been good, Jack. Don't know if you know, but Instagram is dead in the water for me for a little while. I have to stay off of it because they are throttling your girl because she just talking too much truth. The zebras and juice boxes, they're after me. And it was only a matter of time. I feel accomplished. I feel like I'm doing something good. Okay. While I wait for you guys to call me, I'm going to play the next video. Oh my God, am I muted? No. Okay, I was just looking at the wrong thing. Whoa, Big Red has rated the stream. Cha-ching. Thank you, Eric. You are the bomb. Thank you for sending your peeps my way. Welcome, all of you who are coming in from Break the Machine. I am getting deep into Epstein, and my caller hotline is open, so if you want to call and say hi to me, you can. Where's the hotline banner? There it is. Cha-ching! There it is. Ta-da. Okay. So while I'm waiting on you guys to call, there's Nina. What's up? Hey, I love these raids. They're so much fun. Reality Pocket's here. Data's here. Johnny Boy's here. Jack's here. 24 of you guys are here. I have got... sounds good, Big Red. I've got a caller hotline open. Can we move it over so it's like actually like in line with the I hate things off balance? It's like a huge pet peeve. Oh, thank you. It's so much better for my nerves. So yes, Cowgirl, welcome. How you doing, honey? It's good to see you. Yes, so there's the hotline. If you want to call and talk about how the world is like literally burning down to the ground, be my guest. I don't bite unless you ask me to. Data, thank you so much for your generosity. Mwah. I appreciate you. Can always count on Data and Big Red. Yay! You guys are fucking dope. I love all of you so much. Their show. Okay, so Break the Machine is on before me. So, I got to find a way to return the favor and raid their show one day. I would have to go on a lot earlier. Usually I do two shows on Wednesdays, but my fucking the juice boxes are after me, friends. They have throttled me in the metaverse. The zebras. I have made a mark. They don't want me telling the truth, All right, let's get into our next video. I'm going to put the caller hotline on Do Not Disturb. If you missed it, you missed it. But I'll be opening it back up in about 5 more videos. So, before we get going, I have got to read an ad from our friends at 1775 Coffee. Oh, this has to go away. Yes. All right. Uh-oh. Is it glitching? Oh, it says, something changed. There we go. We got to do Rumble Premium. All right, you've probably noticed Rumble is growing fast and it's not slowing down. They're building a real alternative to big tech that puts creators first and actually protects free speech. And now there's Rumble Premium, an easy way to upgrade your experience. With Premium, you get ad-free viewing across the platform, no pre-rolls, no interruption, just the content you came for. Plus, Premium membership unlocks exclusive content like bonus videos, behind-the-scenes drops, and more from your favorite creators. Right now, Rumble is offering $10 off an annual subscription. Just go to rumble.com/premium and use the promo code STUDIO at checkout. That's rumble.com/premium, promo code STUDIO. No ads, more freedom, and content you actually care about. That's the deal. Thank you for your patience. We are now resuming to our regularly scheduled programming, and our next video is new Epstein files release.
And away we go. You guys, the brand new Epstein files just dropped and it's completely off the rails. Now let's just jump right into it. Starting with this, Bill Gates yet again is in the Epstein files, but this time Epstein mentions his wife in a very, very interesting situation. So Epstein tells Bill Gates, and I quote, "To add insult to injury,
Classic.
You then implore me to please delete the emails regarding your STD. Your request, I provide you antibiotics that you can surreptitiously give to Melinda and the description of your penis." Bro, what? So not only Bill Gates caught something, but then gave it to his wife.
The saddest thing is, bros and sisses, I have got to tell y'all, I have heard regular ass people be doing this shit. Okay? The world is ghetto, to quote Candace Owens, because I have met plenty of folks that be trying some sneaky shit like that in my college days. It's disgusting and disturbing. This is the guy, by the way, that forced the jab on everybody. That guy. Sneaking antibiotics to his wife because he's a dirty, disgusting, old, nasty man. He's also one of those ew yucks. Could you imagine on top of you raping you? Ugh, God, it's always like the most disturbing. I just think evil people, there's no way in hell, no pun intended, that they could ever look attractive. Like, it's just, they're disgusting, horrible human beings.
Real stand-up guy. Isn't it funny? That same year, in 2013, Bill Gates offers...
It is a crime, Data, what he did to his wife. Dosing someone with prescription medication without their knowledge is a fucking felony. But it's the elites we're talking about. Apparently they're above royalty.
a challenge for $100K to whomever can make the next generation condom. Completely makes sense now. Now, Bill Gates must have been really pissed off because...
But let's brainstorm here. What is the next generation of condoms? What is it made of? Does it expand or shrink according to size? Does it have buttons you can press? Does it have Neuralink? Does it have medication in it that makes HIV dead? What would this next generation condom do for us, Mr. Gates? other than protect your nasty willy from contracting the gonosyphilis.
That same year, Epstein gets kicked off of Xbox. Now, who owns Xbox? Microsoft. Now, moving along to the old school TV star Robin Leach, who hosted the show Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, who they said unalived a young girl at a party. The files say the complainant claims to have a video of a high-profile sex party dealing with cartels and having witnessed Robin Leach strangle a young girl to death at a party. What is going on? Then we have this picture of Prince Andrew.
Oh, this one. I was going through the files and I came across this one. And I was like, wow. Just wow. They got, I'll say this. They got so comfortable, so brazen. I mean, this has been going on. Y'all, this has been going on way longer than our parents' time, our grandparents' time. This has been going on since humans. It's just that now that we have the internet, things get exposed quickly and instantaneously. But it's the brazenness. I mean, it's like they're just going back and forth. They're laughing about it. They're like, this is a trophy to these people, these photos. And then I read another one where another email. Oh, it's you know, about some famous large black men impaling white blonde women with their members and stuff with babies. I mean, I wish I could say I was shocked, but you know, just with my background and everything and my family bloodline, my father did a very good job 30 years ago of telling me exactly what the elites are into. And I feel like someone owes Alex Jones a fucking apology. Actually, screw him because of what he said about Candace, because clearly Alex Jones is being submitted in full sub position by the zebras and juice boxes. But however, he was right. Before he got corrupted by, you know, the committee of they. And, yeah.
Andrew, who, mind you, lost his royal status and got completely exiled. Shows a young female whose face is redacted and only God knows what and where this is taking place. Oh, it gets even worse for Andrew though, because they said back in the 90s, Maxwell recruited a girl for her modeling career, and instead of modeling, she was sold as a slave for sex and torture. The victim's statement says that Prince Andrew was an accessory to her death as he tortured her and made the victim forced to murder her. Then we have Rachel Chandler, aka the child handler. Now, you may or may not have heard of her because she's been under wraps for a long time, but I know exactly who she is. Now, she was a casting agent who worked closely with Epstein and MC2 Models, which was owned by Jean-Luc Brunel, an accomplice of Epstein. Now, here she is credited in the Epstein files, and she's been seen on private jets with Epstein and Bill Clinton. And it's also to note that Jean-Luc Brunel, just like Epstein, unalived himself in his cell. But it doesn't stop there, because Jay-Z is in the Epstein files as well. Says here, approximately in 19...
So if you're going back to my opening monologue, you know, it's important. Here's the why. They are trying to bring forth the Antichrist. They're trying to bring forth the Antichrist. All of this activity, fear, regret, sadness, anger, gives your energy, gives these demons power. So when you have subliminal messaging and entertainment and music and in the school system and in the medical system, it's all over. You have people unknowingly doing things that's changing their vibration to bring forth different demons, different dark powers that are trying to bring forth the Antichrist because they think that, you know, they are going to conquer God. They want to revisit the Jesus thing, and they want to undo the ransom sacrifice. And yeah, so that's why all this is going on.
1996, some man abducted the victim and then she woke up to Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein, where he inserts her fingers into you know what. Now, the victim states that all this went down in Epstein's mansion in Florida. Now, you guys, there's a whole lot more. I'm going to do a part 2, but make sure you guys hit up my YouTube, The Maverick Approach, and let me know what you guys think about all this down below. And away we go. You guys.
When I was down in Sunny Isles, my husband drove me by Epstein's mansion. This was when he was in jail. Was this when he was in jail or before he went to jail? It was like the first time we went to on the way to Sunset Key.
Yeah, on the way down as we passed through Palm Beach.
Yeah, he took me past his home. It was really weird to see, you know, just a place where you're like, oh my God, all this bad stuff happened here, you know. There's Backwater. Welcome, dear. Glad to see you are here. You missed a lot of good stuff already. I don't know if you've been here, but, you know, thanks for chiming in. All right. Listen to this former CIA agent. I want you to hear this.
Wakey, wakey. Listen to this former CIA agent.
We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them.
I've been knowing this was going on. So when I saw this video circulating, I was like, oh boy. Man, the cat really is out the bag now, y'all. Whew.
And have no one ask where they are. We're also importing children by the plane load. Again, children who...
War supplies the elites with children.
Have no documentation. It's not just child slavery or child sex abuse. It's also child torture. Because you have adrenalized blood. You have the whole blood drinking ceremony of the satanic world. It's also the use of children for harvesting body organs. We'll have the Falun Gong testimony tomorrow. One of the reasons that the Falun Gong are so popular is because they're so healthy, so that you can harvest their body organs and get the very best. And then you have ritual ceremonies and ritual murder. As well as incidental murder. I have been a spy. I'm out from undercover. I'm under a lifetime secrecy agreement. I absolutely tell you without doubt, I have no secrets that I can remember. So if when I go to Iran soon, they can torture me, there's nothing there for them to get. I have found in my research and preparation for this court and all of the work that will follow that most organizations that end up being used to prey on children. Oxfam is a recent example. All of the United Nations organizations, the Boy Scouts of America, all of the child services agencies across the United States of America, they did not start out as organizations to prey on children, but they attract pedophiles. And
going back to what I said at the beginning of the show about CPS, watch that documentary. The documentary is called Never in America, Unmasking CPS's Empire. It's on Rumble. Do yourself a favor. This stitches up some of the loose ends with the Epstein stuff. You got to watch it.
Ultimately, pedophiles end up rising in the ranks and controlling those organizations, so that an organization that initially started out in the service of children becomes an organization that is in fact hunting children. The elite appear to be seeking
hunt them. That's why John Bonet went missing, Madeleine McCann. They literally watch you. So when you go to get, even when you're born in the hospital, they pick from there. They literally watch you. They mark you and they will follow you.
To infect local and provincial law enforcement officers with a taste for pedophilia. There appears to be a very deliberate attempt to push this interest in pedophile movies, including movies that include bestiality. I'm very concerned because we're seeing some snuff movies now.
Which is the furry connection.
And we're seeing some movies in which military war dogs are raping children, including toddlers. And these movies may have come out of the American occupation of Afghanistan and the boredom of
makes me want to vomit. I breed dogs. I know the reality of this. They have a knot, and the males have a knot at the end of their shaft. I'm not trying to be gross, but that's what causes the male and female dog to tie, why they stay stuck together, because that knot actually blows up inside like this, right? And he can't pull out until that knot is deflated. So that is actually what happens to these toddlers. And when I was in my clinicals, when I was in nursing school, one of the most disturbing experiences I had was a woman that came in with a Doberman stuck on her, and her entire womb was destroyed. And that was an adult.
U.S. Army and Marine Corps troops, where in Afghanistan, pedophilia is common.
Don't shoot the messenger. Oh, they already did. This man, Robert David Steele, is dead. Share this video and join our tribe.
And they got him. Because that's what happens. They're going to get your ass. It's really sad. It just makes you think of all the people who are gone now because they tried to tell the truth. Like the guy from Audio Slave, Chris Cornell, and the guy from Linkin Park, and Matthew Perry, and Haish. The list goes on and on. It goes on and on of people trying to tell the truth. And they give Britney Spears, they give a cocktail of drugs. This before they go the unaliving route. If you're not the kind to take the drugs, this cocktail of drugs will permanently make you in like psychosis, which is unfortunately what happened to Britney. But yeah, this is the devil's empire we are in, and they are serving their purpose because unknowns to them, in their effort to bring forth the Antichrist, I guess they don't believe their Bibles. They have to know it's true. They've just chosen sides because that's what's going to bring upon Armageddon. So this will just get worse until Armageddon comes. I mean, exposure is huge, but I doubt anything's going to stop these people because this is like Bible prophecy. This is Bible prophecy. Sodom and Gomorrah, when you go back to Sodom and Gomorrah, it's really kind of the blueprint that they follow. I need to do an episode on Sodom and Gomorrah before I move past Egypt and the Hebrews. All right, let's get into the next video. Is the Epstein files just gossip? I mean, I think we know the answer to this.
The elites at the top want you to think everything within the Epstein files is all just gossip. They want you focused on flight logs and redactions because flight logs are boring and black ink is apparently something you'll skim past without question, but the 3.5 million pages dropped this January tell a different story. They tell a story of ritual and blood sacrifices. Do you remember Gabriela Rico Jimenez? Because in 2009, she stood outside a luxury hotel in Mexico City, screaming for her life. She didn't just yell, she accused the system's local elites, Carlos Slim and Felipe Calderon, of unaliving people for rituals. She said they were even eating them during rituals and the system did what it always does to the people who speak out. They called her crazy, hauled her off to a psych ward, and she hasn't been seen since. She just vanished. But the outside evidence is finally catching up, and just look at the Sasha Riley testimony circulating right now. Sasha isn't just an accuser, he's a witness to the unaliving parties that Gabriela was trying to warn us about 17 years ago.
My parents almost named me Sasha.
Sasha's descriptions of rituals at Zorro Ranch and underground facilities near military bases match Gabriela's so-called delusions perfectly, and the file dump confirms the bridge. We see the emails, and we see the JP Morgan execs being called goyim in those leaked threads, proving exactly how the elites view us the people as just cattle for their games. We see the transit routes between Mexico City and the New Mexico desert. Gabriella wasn't having a breakdown, she was a civilian who saw the system of control without its illusion, and they silenced her, but they can't silence millions of us, because the people are waking up and starting to connect the dots. We see the rituals, we see the missing children, and now we see the system for what it is. The files are out, and the silence is over, now it's time to unite.
That's the thing. It's like now we all know, oh, there's those of us who try our best to be good children of God, and then there's those who try to be children of the devil. And the whole time, they've got everybody distracted. This war, this conflict, that conflict. The whole time, it's really just been the devil versus God, and we are the pawns.
We do not forgive, we do not forget. Anonymously enlightening out.
Anonymous is always interesting. It's always interesting. Did you know that anybody can become part of them? I did a whole deep dive on them too. And there's a bunch of imposters that try to confuse you. Can I have the other one? All right. Zeta says, shocking email from Epstein files implicates former U.S. Ambassador Clinton's Biden's the first commanding officer of SEAL Team 6 and more. Yikes. I wonder if Sean Ryan has seen that. I have not seen that article. There is so much to see. That's why it takes all of us going through these files, and you just have to share everything you see. Keep sharing it. Keep circulating it. There's this account that I follow called like Angel Dust or something. He's a member of European Royal Society. And he never shows his face, but he is very open about what goes on. He tries to bring awareness to what's going on, but that he can't get out of, I guess, the situation he's in. I don't know. I don't know if it's a satire account or if it's real, but it seems real to me. He's part of the sect of masonry called the Illuminati. Anyway, it says shine on at the end. So yes. All right, next video. Are you the devil himself?
Is your money dirty money?
This is the documentary I was talking about.
I just asked a question. Is your money dirty money?
No, it's not.
That's Steve Bannon talking.
So, in fact...
Why is it not dirty money?
Because I earned it.
But you earned it...
I earned it.
We went back to this before. You earned it. You earned it advising the worst people in the world, right, that do enormous bad things, and just to make more money.
So, instead of asking me the question, should you take the money? Because I think it's a legitimate question.
You think it's a legitimate question?
Yes, no
Why?
question. Because I think about it, I think ethics is always a complicated subject, but I can tell you that with the money I gave to help try to eradicate polio in Pakistan and India, instead of asking me whether that money should be given to these children for vaccines, I think you might want to ask their mothers who received the vaccine, who know their child now won't get polio, and ask them if Epstein should have helped these people with their money.
If we walked in,
It's just a financier. What's the big deal?
You're a mathematician. You're a mathematician. We walked into that clinic where they're giving that money out to these people that are in the most dire straits of poverty and sickness, and told them that the money was coming from class 3 sexual predator?
Tier 1.
Tier 1's the highest and worst?
No,
I'm the lowest.
I'm the lowest.
You're the lowest. Okay, Tier 1, you're the lowest.
He's just so unbothered. You have to watch this interview. Like, he is... it just, come on. It's like you want to shake something out of him, but the man lost his sense of humanity a long time ago. He views himself as a god. I don't believe he's dead. Why would he kill himself when he has had all of this protection, all of these years, think about it. It just doesn't make logical sense. He's smug and comfortable, and it ain't no thing to him because should this have had happened, they have a plan. Okay, if the public finds out and we have to make a spectacle of it and put you in jail, don't worry because we have an escape plan. And apparently, the day before, there was somebody. So in the Epstein files, the FBI and DOJ has released the footage of that entire day that he supposedly unalived himself. Well, they didn't include the day before because the day before there was somebody wheeled out. There's 2 cells in that video. If you've looked at it, there's 2 cells. They're like this. Try to do this backwards on on the production software. So they're like this, right? Kind of a little bit. The person next to him, they say it was not Epstein, but the guy in the cell next to him. But someone was wheeled out. What was the reason? If you want to get on mic, you can. You can listen to this. So I want to see the videos of the cell area be the day before.
So apparently there was somebody who was posting on like 4chan and Reddit anonymously, and he was saying that he knew for a fact that the day before Epstein supposedly killed himself, that he was wheeled out of another cell and was taken. And it got to the point
that he had a spit mask on him, right?
Yeah, and it got to the point where the Department of Justice actually started getting subpoenas and getting IP addresses to figure out who this anonymous person was. And they found out the person, I forgot his name, it's well documented. And the person who was posting this anonymously is a corrections officer who worked in that cell block in that jail. So he was anonymously trying to say through 4chan, Reddit, etc., that he saw him get wheeled out.
Yep.
The day before.
Right. But where does it come into play with the mask? Like the guy was a spit risk or something, so you can't see his face because they have a mask over him claiming the guy was a spitter. Like, you know. Oh man. I don't think the guy's dead. There's no way. There's no fucking way. His boys came and scooped him up. I mean, it's the elites. They're like, don't worry, we got you. We'll get you out of there. We'll just make everyone think you got punished and not you're dead and all that shit.
What was the point of him spending forever getting blackmail on everybody to not use it?
Right. Yeah. It's Ryan saying, what's the point in getting blackmail on everyone to not use it? But yeah. No, I don't know. Did I finish watching this video?
But a criminal.
No.
Yes.
That the money came from them. What percentage of people do you estimate? I understand you don't like probabilities. Do you estimate would say, I don't care, I want the money for my children?
I would say everyone said, I want the money for my children.
Did they know where the money came from?
I think if you told them,
if
I told them the devil,
100%.
the devil
himself.
The devil himself said, I'm going to exchange some dollars for your child's life.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
No,
Oh, Psycat just went on. Okay, so that's one of the things I do. One of my specialties in psych is I study nonverbal communication, your body language. You saw him pause and hesitate, and his head almost nodded yes. He knows. He knows. They channel these demons. They become one. In the same way you become one with God, same way Jesus told you to become one with God, that God is within you. Well, if the devil is just the other side of that coin, then the devil can also be within you. And you saw his head almost acknowledge, yep, I am. He knows he's fucking wicked. He knows it.
You do have a good mirror.
Woo!
It's a serious question. Do you think you're the devil himself?
I do have a good mirror.
I don't know. Why would you say that?
Because you have all the attributes. You're incredibly smart. You remember the devil is somebody knows.
Smart?
The devil's brilliant. You read Milton's Paradise Lost.
No, the devil scares me.
Satan is the
I think he's your friend.
He is at the number 1 or 2 archangel, and the reason he goes to hell and leads the rebellion is because he can't be the top guy. And his thing is, I'd rather reign in hell than.
See how he says, like he doesn't know the story. It's like, so this is what they think of us. This is their side of the story.
Serve in heaven.
I saw that in a movie once called American Dharma. I don't remember who said it. Okay, we have to go.
Okay, good.
Okay.
He's like, I'm done. Yikes, stripes. Yikes stripes. Well, there you go. Out of the mouth of the devil himself. Jeffrey Epstein is probably one of the most wicked men on this planet. My God. My God. All right. We have to take a moment to read an ad from our friends here at 1775 Coffee. Still haven't tried 1775 Coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units. You're getting the bold, dark roast that hits hard, the smooth, medium roast, and the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus, no crash. All single origin, small batch, toxin-free, and mold-free. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. And you get a black 1775 tumbler, $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, it is. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they are gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something just like Rumble does. All right. Moving on, let's go to TikTok land. Actually, let me open up the hotline before we do that. I'm feeling like peer pressure to try this 1775 coffee because I've had to read this ad now so many times and I haven't read it, tried it yet. It seems like I need to try it. How can I do this ad anywhere without trying 1775 coffee? I think 1775 coffee, you guys need to send me a fucking sample. Because I can't get through life without coffee. And also, I have had like 4 concussions, and my eye doctor was the one who caught that I have a TBI. And so the mushroom thing really does kind of stick out. But the listener hotline is open. 904-530-1422. If any of my OGs want to call, say hi. Backwater, I don't know if you heard the beginning of the show, but guess who's after your girl? The juice boxes. I've been calling 2 words. Everyone says juice boxes, but I also, for the Z word, I say zebras. That's my new code word. They said, we suspect you for being a bot. You're no longer allowed to comment. You're on a cooldown period. I talk to Meta. No one knows how long this cooldown period is, but here's the catch. You can't try and make a comment. So they tell you, I don't know how long the cooldown period is. You just gotta have to try commenting. And we got a call coming in. You're live with Luna.
So I hear you talking nonstop about the Epstein.
Hi again. I never got your name.
It doesn't matter, my name. Michael, if you want to know.
Oh, like what's like Michael the Archangel?
Like Michael, like the me. Don't make me regret calling, please, because my coworker has you on all night long, all day long, and I hear you talking about the Epstein files nonstop. But how come you're not mentioning how many times Trump was on it?
Well, you know what? I did a deep dive. That was the first thing I did was type in the word Trump. And you know why I'm not mentioning anything? Because all of the information about Trump came from a tip line and none of the victims themselves. Do you want me to talk about Trump?
I want to know how come you're defending him from being on the files. Because he was also, they had photos of him with women.
Yes, women, keyword women. Scandalous, right?
Well, you don't like the Clintons on there. Are there any photos of Clinton with any young girls?
Oh, tons. Didn't you look?
I haven't seen any. There's
I have
3
a
million
quick side
documents.
note. Are you gay?
Why would you even bring that up?
I don't know. I can't tell if I'm talking to a girl or a guy sometimes. I don't know if
Michael,
I'm talking to
idiot.
a trans.
Michael, idiot.
Are you? Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything these days. Like last time we
I can't talk
talked,
to you.
you
I can't
couldn't
talk
tell
to
me
you.
if your parrot was a girl or a boy. Oh, Michael, the gay guy who can't identify his the gender of his parrot. Or no, he said his parrot was a guy and couldn't tell me how he knew his parrot was a guy. His bird. Backwater says, Luna, your hair's on point today. Thank you. You know what? I just decided to do straight, sleek look because it was fast and easy, and I was kind of late being on my show. Yes, there are lots of pictures with Clinton with girls. You know, I'm not saying anything yet about Trump because I'm letting that. I got to see what comes of that. I don't care who you are. If you're a monster and a pedophile, you deserve death, in my opinion. But interestingly, that yellow graph that went viral, you know, about the pageants, and do you remember that movie Taken with Liam Neeson? How like the girls were put up like on stage and they were drugged and like the wealthy people bid on them. That's what they were describing in this like chart with a bunch of yellow highlighting about Trump. Well, it turns out those were just from a tip line and that there's nothing from victims thus far pointing to him. So I gotta wait. I gotta see. Right now, there is so much more heinous stuff. But you know what? I don't know. You know, we're gonna take it as it comes. And if he's guilty, he's guilty. And that will break my heart. But, you know, we gotta stand by what's right. I mean, if even if it's just that he knew or witnessed it and never said anything, I take issue with that. Unless Trump was also in a informant type position. I don't know, but I mean, there's a lot of files. So far, I feel like if there was truly something concrete about him actually being into little kids, that would be all over the place. However, I have been as a child, I was assaulted 4 times. I can smell them pedophiles coming from miles away. And it just doesn't pass the vibe check for me. Not saying that I'll deny evidence, but on the vibe check, I mean, Trump's the kind of guy that always wants like the baddest bitch, and like he's all about like high class, and you know, he's about like looking like the fucking, you know, boss, and he just isn't giving it to me. He's not giving me the pedophile vibes. Now, womanizer? Absolutely. 18-year-olds? You really think a man with power and money is going to say no to a barely legal, like, she's legal, 18? I mean, I could see him doing that. But, I mean, he was known to want to be around supermodels. But there's just nuances and vibes and certain things about them that I don't get it off of Trump. Now, I think he's rubbed elbows with some really bad people. But just in my experience of running for Congress, I've rubbed elbows with bad people. That doesn't mean that I took part in it. Okay, let's see who this is. You are live with Luna.
Oh, hey, this is Lewis, but you can't. I guess you can say my name over there, but you got to pretend you don't know me. But I sent
Okay. Hi, Lewis.
I sent emails to your crew.
Okay.
And I've shut the volume off. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I got to read your lips on the screen because I had to shut the volume off.
Can you hear me though?
Yeah.
Okay. What's happening, Lewis?
I'm calling from across the United States, you know, down to Florida, and want to know what's going on down there.
You want to know what's going on down here?
Yeah. You and Ryan, you were running for office, and who's running for Miami? I heard there was only 11,000 people that voted. I probably got the wrong number in Miami to get that new mayor that's not going
I'm
to
not
cooperate
sure
with ICE?
about the local elections right now. I'm working on a campaign for Raven Harrison. She's running for Congress in the like Palm Beach, Boca Raton area.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So we're, people like me are looking up to you guys to run.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because we're not. I mean,
it's not for everybody.
I don't need to. Yeah, in my state, it's pretty well handled.
Mm-hmm. What state are you
But
in?
we want Wyoming.
Okay, beautiful.
We want to see, other states do better in these battleground states and just where the battles are going on. In New York, a child, a victim of some doctors and plastic surgeons won a $2 million case in New York finally for being, trans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
The person won a case just recently. That was in the news.
Good.
And the word is we're hoping that will get more attention and doctors will stop the nonsense. It's hard to believe somebody gets a medical degree, is in the medical profession, and they don't think twice about harming kids with blockers and blades. I don't understand it.
They get brainwashed in university to just fall in line with what the elites are trickling down the pipeline. And then they don't want to be blacklisted, blackballed, shunned, and ostracized from their medical community. And that's when you see a lot of these doctors going against their conscience.
It's just incredible. I hope it turns, and I'm so glad you and Ryan have spoken out against it.
Thank you.
Thank
you for your support too.
We need more people. We need more people like that, and we need. And I remember you talking about you're going to network and try to grow, and I hope you do, and I hope people support you and you keep going after the right stuff.
I got good things in the pipeline, my friend. Good things coming my way.
Good.
And I appreciate you supporting us.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I missed out on all your lessons on origins. I heard you say in the show you talked about Egypt and the Hebrews. Oh man, I'm so into that, and I missed all that. But
that one's coming out.
I don't have it figured out. That's why it's so fascinating to me. I've always liked math, for instance, because it's always you have to open the book and go over it and over it again until you understand the patterns and try to memorize it and go take a test. And it's always been fascinating how hard it is. But history is kind of the same way. And like to show you, I don't know if you caught on, but I read the Jehovah's Witness book, Origins. It's a blue hardback.
You're bringing out an artifact. Wow. That's an old one.
It's like, I read it like 15, 20 years ago. I remember. And I was looking at it to see what they think. I try to get in their head.
There's a lot that they've got right. Because they're out of the evangelical bunch. They are very into making sure their population understands paganism and how to set themselves apart from it. And there's a lot of esoteric stuff that they talk about that isn't in mainstream religion. That actually, they talk about symbolism, occult stuff. Unbeknownst to me, they're describing themselves. They put a little bit of truth in plain sight so you don't look their direction, but there's a lot that they reveal. But I started going over the human origins because it's critical to understand like how we got here, and all disciplines matter, even math, because math, science, music, religion, history, it all is it's all in play. And it's like trying to eat an elephant. You kind of have to just take like a little bit at a time. And it took me 10 years of studying to really, put that million-piece puzzle together and understand exactly what the hell is going on around here.
I studied it in college and kind of got addicted to it because we had I went to Christian college, but it wasn't perfect. It had predators too. And I actually helped take one down, and he went to 27 years in prison.
Good.
Because
Good job.
when I broke the when I broke the case and the FBI questioned him, they found out all the other stuff he was doing that I didn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
And it ruined him. But he was a Christian college professor. And,
Mm-hmm.
I went there to kids go to college sometimes to be, they want to be a square person. They want to be, have a good life. They, like Charlie Kirk would say, they just want to go there, learn, get a career, and learn the truth, And sometimes colleges, you have to look out everywhere you go. They're everywhere. Predators.
Well, it's part of the system. It's how the elites indoctrinate. I know when I was in college during the lockdown, I decided Harvard opened up online courses and I wanted to supplement my psych degree. What else was I doing? I dropped out of it, the children's rights class, because they were brainwashing everyone in the class that the parents were like Nazis and the biggest threat to children because they hold the most power. And, you line that up with the trans thing that was going on. And it's a lot. So my eyes were open that it really starts in school. They start right there in elementary school, driving a wedge. And the system wants to be daddy, and they want to separate children from their family of origin because they're easier to bend to their will. And, once you're dependent on the system, there's no getting out of it.
Yeah. Well, the next thing on my mind is, I have kids too, and my daughter, she's armed. She's killed a couple of raccoons, knocked them out of the trees at night. Target practice, and I got her armed so she's protected when I'm not around.
Good for her.
And,
my kids know how to shoot.
She's young. She's the youngest, so she's armed, and that's what parents need to do is protect their kids.
Yes, they do. You never know. It's better to have it and not need it than not have it when you need it. I always tell people though, I hope I never have to use my weapon. I hope I never have to use it, but I definitely will. If you're coming for me, it ain't gonna be me. It's gonna be you.
Right. We only shoot. What we do is if we lose, we have 3 chickens to raccoons or something.
Mm-hmm.
She's only allowed to hunt 3 raccoons. It's 3 for 3.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You don't take out the whole raccoon family.
Right. It's kind of like how you don't shoot the doe, kid's got a baby.
Yeah.
All right. I got to get going on my show.
I'll let you go. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Take care, guys.
Thanks for the call.
Bye.
All right. That was fun. Thank you for calling, Lewis. That was really cool. Thank you for giving us a little peek into Wyoming. Beautiful state, by the way. Beautiful state. All right. Let's get on to our next video. We're going to TikTok land. Epstein and the transgender ideology. Yes, we can blame that fucker for this too. Let's go.
So they aren't going to talk about this, but in the new Epstein files drop, Jeffrey Epstein was emailing Robert Trivers, who's an American biologist. And they were actively talking about pushing the transgender ideology onto children as young as 3 years old. Here's the full email up here. It's very graphic. If you want to read it, you can,
maddening.
but it's pretty bad.
Because you guys know this is what I'm dealing with my oldest child. And just to know that my child has been a victim of the woke mind virus that was deployed by these sycophant perverts onto the world. It just goes to show you, sometimes it doesn't matter how much you try to keep your kids aware, how much you try to talk to them. This school system where I live was literally just driving a wedge between children and their parents, and the teachers pretending to be best friends, and the teachers were just going after these kids. And there were secret clubs run by adults in this school. There were for trans stuff. There's a whole network of trans safe houses that operate just like women's battered shelters where you cannot find the safe house. And they supply them with money, transportation, doctors, and these are minors housed with people all the way up to 25 years old. So as you can imagine, I was utterly terrified until I found my child 2 weeks ago.
Robert emailing Jeffrey Epstein notes, by the way, we are now pushing the intervention earlier, so you notice your 3-year-old son has trans tendencies, so now you intervene with hormones. I would be frightened to do that, but who knows? Now, usually I'm all for reconciliation and forgiveness, but we all know what...
They themselves are frightened. But you have to do this. This is part of the plan. We're going to lock them down, and then we're going to make them be stuck to their devices while their parents are suddenly forced to work around each other in the home. They can't use work anymore as an excuse to get away from each other. And, you know, you've got teachers melting down and kids melting down and parents melting down. And these kids are just stuck on their devices. This was all part of it.
Needs to happen to these people. And Robert Trivers is a free man right now.
Yep.
Even after it was revealed that most of his work was funded by Jeffrey Epstein.
Mm-hmm.
So they aren't going to talk about this, but in the new Epstein files drop, Jeffrey Epstein was emailing Robert Trivers, who's an American biologist. And they were actively talking about pushing the transgender ideology on children as young as 3 years
Ain't he a beauty? Yeah. There you have it. We'll let you hear it one more time.
old. Here's the full email up here. It's very graphic. If you want to read it, you can, but it's pretty bad. And Robert emailing Jeffrey Epstein notes,
So just do like a keyword search for the gentleman's name. It's coming back up.
by the way, we are now pushing the intervention earlier, so you notice your 3-year-old son has trans tendencies, so now you intervene with hormones. I would be frightened to do that, but who knows? Now, usually I'm all for reconciliation and forgiveness, but we all know what needs to happen to these people. And Robert Trivers is a free man right now, even after it was revealed that most of his work was funded by Jeffrey Epstein. So they aren't going to talk about this, but in the new Epstein files drop, Jeffrey Epstein was emailing Robert Trivers, who's an American biologist. And they were actively...
They always use the veil of education, a position of authority. We are educated. We know what's better for you. You got to listen to us, you dummies. You don't know. You don't know how to interpret any of this medical science. Just do what we say.
talking about pushing the transgender idea.
It'll never happen again. We failed that assignment. Everyone complied. I didn't take the jab. Coincidentally enough, 2 years before COVID, I was in my sophomore year in university, and we were discussing the ethics of mRNA and the CRISPR gene editing machine, for lack of a better word. And so what I learned before the COVID vaccine was introduced was that mRNA is very similar the way it functions as the CRISPR. So it's basically a nanorobot that they're injecting into you that goes in and clips a part of your DNA and rewrites it for your cells to grow a spike so that the coronavirus thinks that it's surrounded by its cousins and it has nothing to infect. That's at least, how they framed it. So ethically, I was very aware of what nanorobots, how real they are. And I did not take that vaccine. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, that's a disaster waiting to happen. When you have a vaccine that's going to take all your cells and make it have genetic code to grow a spike, your body is eventually going to see all of these spikes and turn on itself. And we saw that play out with the proteins that were just spontaneously growing in people's blood and veins. So dangerous, very dangerous. A lot of women became infertile. A lot of men became infertile. A lot of people dropped dead from vascular diseases. There's been gut diseases that have increased since this. I mean, people's bodies are just totally out of whack after this. So yeah, it makes you, and Bill Gates and Kamala Harris and Obama have all just flat out said, we're going to reduce population. We need to get real, do real good on that. So I was like, no, thank you.
One of the country's
Let's get
most
to the
prominent
next video.
physicians is in the Epstein files, and the emails look pretty damning.
Oh, I forgot
Dr.
to introduce
Peter
this video
Attia
for you
is a
guys. This is about Dr. Peter Attia. He was a really bad boy.
longevity doctor who is a New York Times bestselling author and the host of a popular podcast. Here's an alleged email from Dr. Peter Attia to Leslie Groff, who was one of Epstein's assistants. And it says, "No, thank you so much. See you next time. Hopefully JE in town when I'm back in 2 weeks. I go into JE withdrawal when I don't see him."
Ew.
And this email apparently between Dr. Attia and Jeffrey Epstein with the subject, "Got a fresh shipment. You the biggest problem with becoming friends with you? The life you lead is so outrageous and yet I can't tell a soul." To which Jeffrey E replies, "Afraid not." And there's
Grody. Ugh. See what I'm saying? It's just like flagrant. We'll never be caught. Let's just talk about it in email.
another email with language that I don't want to share with you here today that is just not good. One person is reporting that there are 175 pages of documents with Dr. Attia in the Epstein files. Now, I don't know Dr. Attia. I've never
Keyword search Dr. Attia.
met him, but I did not have this on my 2026 bingo card. Did you?
He's
One
got
of the country's
jokes.
most prominent physicians is in the Epstein.
Yo, the shipment. So we know the shipment at this point is either kids, babies, baby parts, or organs, or blood. This is just the shit you read about and watch in horror movies. And what's crazy, don't you guys feel like Hollywood's just been putting it in our face the whole time? Like if you see it on screen, it's happening. It's happening. Whether that comes down to behaviors or technologies that are in existence, diseases, aliens. I mean, it's all real. It's all fucking real. It's all real. And that's why I said at the beginning of my monologue, you cannot concern yourself. Look, exposure is the catalyst to waking up those who may still be ignorant or asleep, and letting you know that God is still present, that Bible prophecy is actually happening. I mean, what is happening in the world right now with politics and the elites, if this doesn't revive your faith, nothing will. Absolutely nothing will. I went through a period of time where, of course, growing up in a cult, when you wake up to it, your relationship with God is incredibly sick and damaged. And most of us who woke up out of the cult became atheists for a while. I mean, because of our anger levels, because of the things that we witnessed, the things we saw, the things that were deprived of us, and the work it takes to integrate into normal society. You become very angry. And in my quest to debunk the cult, in helping rehabilitate other survivors, and different spiritual things that were happening to me, unexplainable phenomenons, I was kind of forced, just through the human history element, to really start organizing and making sense of the world around me, because I got out of one cult to realize the rest of the world is still in a cult. And I was really angry about that. Then my run for Congress opened my eyes a bit more. And now with everything going on, you know, if this doesn't bring everything full circle for you, that what is said in the New Testament, in the Greek scriptures, if you don't think that that's real, if you don't think God is real at this point, like, this situation is not going to wake you up. If your head is still in the sand, it's probably too late for you, because this exposure is letting you know we are living in the last days. We are awaiting the end times. Armageddon will be here. And that is the only answer, because this involves every world leader, every powerful person, well, almost all of the royalty, all of the rich, all of the famous, anybody with power. And they just flagrantly have been no cares, no worries. CERN, I've been following CERN for years. That's a whole thing. If you need research CERN, they are trying to shift timelines. I think that is to avoid Armageddon, to be quite honest with you. It's very real. There's a lot of research that has to be done, but all I can say is reach out to people who know, who've been down the road, who can explain things to you, who are non-biased. It's definitely not going to be someone who's lived a cushy life. And just keep at it. You know, keep chipping away. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? Isn't that how the saying goes? All right. Next video. Oh, Elon Musk. He's a simp for Epstein. Are you shocked? I know I'm not.
The latest drop of Epstein files, we have none other than Elon Musk, where he says, I will be in St. Bart's over the holidays. Is there a good time to come visit? The date on this is December 13th of 2013. Now let's just recap, everybody. Epstein was prosecuted in the state of Florida in 2008. So this is 2013. You do the math. Jeffrey Epstein responds. He says, any day, 1st through the 8th, play it by ear if you want, always space for you. They kind of go back and forth. And then up here, Elon says, I need to fly back to LA on the night of the 2nd.
I'm not shocked because Elon has always given me pedo vibes. There's something about him that gives me pedo vibes. I see it in the eyes. And it's just questionable. How many kids does he have? I mean, it's kind of fucking crazy how many kids he has.
Actually, I could fly back early on the 3rd. We will be at St. Bart's. When should we head to your island on the 2nd? Now, this is a conversation between Jeffrey Epstein and Elon Musk in December of 2013. What was Elon?
We already know that Elon doesn't really have a regard for human life via Neuralink. I mean, the people had to sign away their lives quite literally to have the experiment done on them, and he didn't care if they died. I mean, and this push to integrate human consciousness with the cloud is their form of eternal life. And it kind of takes me back to the Garden of Eden when Yahweh was like, you're not allowed to eat from the tree of knowledge or the tree of life. And according to the Old Testament, according to the Hebrew scriptures, it was Satan, who they depicted as a serpent, that was telling Adam and Eve, why doesn't he want you to eat from that? Does he not want you to know what we know? And it just kind of, to me, let me back it up just a little bit.
This is a conversation between Jeffrey Epstein and Elon Musk in December of 2013.
Yeah. So back with the Garden of Eden, you know, and then there was that second tree. Everyone forgets that there were 2 trees that they were not allowed to eat from. The other one was the tree of life. So the tree of life was guarded also by sword, and that held answers to eternal life. And the devil basically said, you can achieve that on your own. And this, what he's done with Neuralink and what Bill Gates is doing with vaccines and all this other fucking experiments that they do and the eugenics, that is, to me, it's further evidence to show they're striving to achieve eternal life in the physical realm, the 3D realm, and not have to experience death. Now, if you go into the story of Baal and Gilgamesh, who otherwise known as Nimrod, there are see, how do I want to say this? There's evidence, okay, to show that. Let's go back further. I bring up Gilgamesh because it's a very similar story to the Egyptian god Thoth, who was an astro god meaning from our dimension, possibly from another planet. And they came here to mine gold. They probably knew who the Watchers were. It kind of an overlap. So Thoth ruled over Egypt for 25,000 years. Well, how could this happen? So the pyramids that they are now realizing was some sort of powered structure that could teleport them. There were also some pyramids that they have discovered looked like tombs that they used to preserve bodies. And that the reason why Thoth was able to rule for 25,000 years was because he was transferring his consciousness back and forth between two bodies that he took a liking to, two human bodies he took a liking to, and he would preserve them and regenerate them. And so it just kind of all aligns with the activity that the elites are doing now with Neuralink, with what CERN is doing, with what Bill Gates is doing with eugenics, with trying to find, I don't know if you guys have done research on this, but the U.S. government and Hillary Clinton, this is in the Epstein files. That's why I brought up Bales. They're trying to find Nimrod's body because apparently Nimrod was probably revived in some way and then died again, or somehow lived longer than what we thought. So, it all kind of ties together. And that's why a lot of this information is so daunting for people to research and to look through, because all you see with all this Epstein stuff at face value is just the criminality of it. But we don't know why. And you have to look spiritually. Everything that happens in your life and in the world is spiritual. And you don't realize that until you are no longer a physical person. When you become a spiritual person, all of these things start to just fall in place, and the daunting task of figuring all this out, all of a sudden everything just starts to line up when you really start to drop your physical connection, your 3D self, and get out of the divine masculine and go into the divine feminine. That's a whole other thing. Let me not get too off track, but I would urge you guys to watch. I know Candace Owens is a controversial person, but the girl is intelligent, and she, through this Charlie Kirk investigation she's doing, I don't think she realized how all of this would really start to connect in with her previous research with the Macrons and MK Ultra, and then there's the Erika Kirk thing, which I'm really proud of her, questioning Erika really heavily now. We've all been rooting for her to get there because, at least for me, it was very obvious that Erika was a handler or a honeypot situation, and I'm just really rooting for her to keep going down that end of it. But then there's the pageantry and the human trafficking, and it's just, you don't think that in one area of your research is going to collide with all of this spiritually. And my point to all this is she does a really good job laying out things. You can't just jump in on an episode. You have to really start at the beginning of her investigation of Charlie Kirk and just drop your emotions about it and just listen emotion free. Because it's all on topic. It's all on topic, and it's all tied together. And I think Charlie was murdered because he was figuring all this out. And I think he figured out Erika. I don't know. This is just my opinions. I just think he started realizing a lot of things about his life, especially if he was a gifted child and he was marked and watched. And, social engineering is very much a thing. Sean Ryan is a great one to look at too, because on his show, there's a episode he has with a Russian honeypot spy, and she talks about social engineering. And social engineering means that things are moved around you by other people and other forces to funnel you into the direction that they want a group or person to go into. And I think that he started figuring out that this is what was happening, and that he was surrounded by the thing he hates the most. And he was too much of a risk because he was going to wake too many people up. And also, if you have people waking up and coming back to God and coming back to Christ, that's going to throw a huge wrench in their plan. Because, for example, the COVID vaccine, that's one of the reasons why I didn't take the COVID vaccine, because I was spiritually tapped in. And Charlie was one of those people that was waking people up in that way, even though Erika was the reason why the whole TPUSA faith thing started. Sometimes God allows his adversaries to continue to be in play in the game because it furthers a bigger purpose for his will. And, I think, some things they really hurt, like the death of Charlie Kirk. But even though as painful as it is, it's God's will is divine and perfect. And when that happened to him, it sent a lot of people down a path of research and trying to figure things out. And that's what martyrs do. And painful, but God's will is perfect. Amen. All right, let's get back to this thing. Sorry, I got off on a tangent. We need a freaking soundbite for a Luna tangent, like something, because, I be getting on them.
What was Elon's response? Denial. He came on X and said, "No one pushed harder for me to have the Epstein files released, and I'm glad that this has finally happened. I had very little correspondence with Epstein and declined repeated invitations to go to his island or fly on his Lolita Express, but was well aware of some of the email correspondence and how it could be misinterpreted and used by detractors to smear my name." And as most of us expect at this point, Vivian comes to the rescue and said, "I am going to speak directly instead of being vague and cryptic. I can confirm we were in St. Bart's at the time specified in the emails, and therefore I believe they are authentic." Now, if you don't know, this is Elon Musk's daughter. Many of us have watched their relationship unfold publicly. That is a different story entirely. Do we not remember June of 2025 where Elon and Trump had their big falling out over Trump being elected as president, and the Doge happened, and then Elon decided he didn't want to work for Trump anymore, and he came on X and he dropped the bomb on everybody that Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason that they...
By the way, that statement he made did not incite emotion out of me, because look at the statement. He is in the Epstein files. That doesn't mean anything other than that his name is mentioned. It was just a red herring. It was just a half-truth jab, because it's kind of like, if I'm going to go down, you going down with me kind of thing.
Have not been made public. And don't get me wrong, Trump is in the Epstein files. But Elon is also in the Epstein files.
Exactly.
Like, what timeline are we living in?
Good question,
right now?
girl. Good question.
Vivian also went
the
on threads and
timeline
said
where we're bringing Armageddon. The timeline where the elites are bringing the Antichrist to trigger Armageddon because it's God's divine perfect will, baby. All of this that's happening is by design. God, the all, the everything, is the everything. And all of this horrible stuff is moving us closer to Armageddon, which is the event where God is going to destroy the wicked-hearted. What is the difference between... Why does the scripture say wicked in particular? Okay, they didn't say evil people, because there's actually a difference between an evil person. Psycat is on now. A difference between an evil person and a wicked person. What's the difference, Luna? The difference is an evil person commits bad acts and doesn't necessarily know what they're doing is wrong, or why it's wrong, or they're just bad problem solvers. A wicked person, psych terms, it's important, is someone who knows what is bad, loves it, and does it anyway. It's a Epstein right there when he almost said, "Yeah, I'm the devil." That's a wicked man. So God doesn't punish you for what you don't know. He's removing those with a wicked heart condition, because that's what's in your heart. You love what is evil. You love what is bad. You partake, you encourage, and you ensnare. So, another rant. Sorry. Here we go.
There was a boat ride from St. Vincent to St. Bart's. I remember from when I was little, we used to visit around the holidays. I remember the sea being so dark at night. Vivian is on threads actively communicating about this if you want to go and check it out. latest drop of Epstein files, we have another.
Okay, production's back and I don't have to do multitasking. Let's go. We've just got like 6 more videos. 6, 7, don't even. I just had to because my kids. So interesting, the 6, 7 thing, that's a spiritual numbers. If you haven't caught on to numerology yet, you should. Math is the language of God. It's all through the Bible. It's universal. Doesn't matter what dimension you're in, what planet you're on, what language you speak. Math is the universal language of God. Numbers matter. That's why you see it woven in everything. Jesus was 33 years old. Different, 3 represents balance, 10 perfection, 7 completion. But the certain combinations of numbers in 6, 7, or 7, 6 also has dark energy. So, yes. Anyway, Epstein and the Goy. Fellow Goyim. Let's find out.
Jeffrey Epstein's bank account was called Baal, the ancient Canaanite deity
He said it
which
right.
people would sacrifice their children to. A victim's diary shows that she was impregnated multiple times and forced to give birth for Ghislaine and Epstein. Israel is mentioned twice as much as Donald Trump in the new documents.
Ooh.
Here he is discussing
Ooh.
with Roger Schenck, a Jewish-American academic and hedge fund worker,
I've seen
saying
this guy
Jews
before.
create vast fortunes by manipulating markets and creating financial speculation and exploiting labor. He says, let the Goyim deal in the real world. In a discussion with the Rothschild family, Epstein says if they overthrew the Ukrainian government, there would be great opportunities. The Rothschild family paid Epstein $25 million for certain algorithms. While talking to Peggy Seigel, August 7th of 2010, she asks if an event is going to be
Like the trans algorithm? Are we talking about that one?
100% Jewish. He says no, they'll have Goyim in abundance. But don't worry, they're just brilliant wasps from JP Morgan. Joshua Finkelstein, BlackRock's Larry Finkelstein's son, is accused of not having any respect for non-Jews, seeing them as not human. This is from his...
By the way, I don't know if you guys have seen, I'm reading the Talmud. That is the most racist book I have ever read in my entire freaking life. I mean, it makes any racist stuff I've encountered absolutely nothing because holy moly, they take the crown for racists. Just saying. I know it's not all Jews. And in fact, the Jews from Israel aren't actually Jews. They're gypsies. They come from like the Ukraine area, Romania area. That's a whole other thing. But we're going to get there in my next, subscriber episode.
Ex-girlfriend, Svetlana. He pressures her to have an abortion. In 2017, Epstein has a conversation talking about if you want to hire the best people, you have to hire only Jews. Only hire those who can prove they are genetically Jewish. Maria Farmer, one of the first victims to come out and name Epstein.
I wasn't allowed.
My Ancestry, 23andMe.
To go get food. And when I called Ghislaine and asked why I couldn't eat there, she said, it's a Jewish country club. You're not Jewish. They're not going to serve you. They, honest to God, think their DNA is better than everybody else's.
Said that their operation was motivated by Jewish supremacy. Jeffrey Epstein's bank account was called...
Yes, Data. They, I see your comments. They view anyone who is not a Jew as beasts, animals, to be removed and used to their liking. It's right there in there. It's right there in there. And they hate Jesus. They think that he is burning in hellfire and excrement. So why have they made this push to align themselves with Christians? Because why? Why should I subscribe to anything they believe when they murdered my Lord and Savior, when they believe my Lord and Savior needs to be tortured? So I'm not falling for any of it. Just saying. All right, let's listen to Epstein's niece again. She's going to talk about Baal.
The cult of Baal. B-A-L. My family masqueraded themselves as Jewish publicly, but behind closed doors, at Passover dinners, when I was drugged, would admit, we are Satanists. They told me that we belong to the cult of Baal. BA''AL.
Mm-hmm. Why does it say it's 19 minutes long?
They told me this with consistency while I was being abused. Now, what you can look up about the cult of Baal, information that is publicly available, is that it is thousands of years old. It is a Phoenician satanic fertility cult. And publicly, it's supposed to have been eradicated. But to my knowledge and my experience, it is not.
That creator... Oh, I forgot to switch you guys over. Whoopsie. The creator for... that has the account Angel Dust or whatever, he talks a lot about Baal. So I would suggest looking him up. He never shows his face, but he claims to be of European royal family, that he is the son of somebody with a title. This is a really long video, so I think I'm going to do it. Let's see. Maybe I should make this Sunday's episode all about Baal. I think I'll do that. We'll go over that video then, because this is a 19-minute video. Basically, the reason why production put it on was because it was her admitting, that they worship Baal privately, that publicly they say that they're Jewish, but the truth's out. All right. Candace on Erika's lies. I just have to say before we get to this video, I am so freaking proud of her for getting here, because I, at the beginning, was worried she would never get there. And I totally could understand why, because if it's one of your good friends' wives, like, you don't want to think something extreme about them. You don't want to think that. But in psychology, my last 2 years, I did forensic psychology. And one thing I learned when it comes to assassinations or murder for hires, it's always the people closest to them that give the access to the assassin. And they're always involved in the coordination of it. Now, when 90% of murders are committed by someone that you know, and then that percentage is broken down. I forget the exact percentage. It's a high percentage. I'd have to look it up. But the next risk is your spouse or family member. There's usually alcohol involved, but we're talking about assassinations in particular. And I was one of the first people that picked up on Erika's oddness because I study body language. And she did, it was when she first spoke publicly. Well, I would say the first inkling I said was weird was when I watched her walk off Air Force 2. Now, this is subtle. I'll probably get some hate for this and some disagreements, but because it's subtle. When she was walking off Air Force 2, she was walking in the lead position, leading Usha Vance off the plane. Hand in the lead position, standing in front, pep in her step, and Usha Vance looked more sad than Erika did there from the tarmac, but I didn't say anything then yet to my husband because I'm like, maybe it's just how, I don't know. Maybe it's just, you don't want to think, right? You don't want to think. Then it was when she spoke publicly the first time in Charlie's studio at that podium. The whispering when she needed to be emotional and like odd. The holding of I don't know if it was a rosary, and all her gestures seemed planned. It's very much, I took public speaking all through church for 29 years. 21 years I was in public speaking. And then again, I did it in college. All of her gestures were at the right time, the right way, the way they train you for public speaking. And every time she would get emotional, have to be emotional, it was, it's the way she could mask to me the lack of genuine pain. I don't know how she had a full face of makeup on. My child died in my arms And I'm telling you, if my husband died the way Charlie did or any other way, especially the way Charlie did, there's no way I'd get out of bed. You're consumed with grief. If your soulmate was just taken from you in such a horrific way, your grief, you have a physiological response to grief. That's the way the body is designed. Now, I don't want to hear any more about everyone grieves differently, because this is why. There's universal language in play with all humans. There are behaviors that are encoded into us that is also encoded into us to pick up and observe. That's nonverbal communication that is in your DNA. And we all know the marks of happiness, sadness, grief, anger, fear, etc. And I'm telling you, the physiological response from something that traumatic, I'm sorry, you wouldn't take on a CEO role immediately. You wouldn't be speaking publicly so quickly and look like a Barbie doll pageant. And like, if you did want to speak publicly, you wouldn't have any makeup on. When I went to my son's funeral, I had to put on a wig and sunglasses because I couldn't do my hair, I couldn't do my makeup, and I couldn't stop crying. So it just didn't track for me. So I got backlash bad. My first viral video was one of hate because I was like, this is weird. Something's weird with her. So I'm really, really like, and I don't want to say excited. That's a wrong word, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how she is progressing with her investigation into Erika. And my prayers are with her, because I feel like it's going to end in a lot of hurt and a lot of pain. And I just give her a lot of fucking props for being so brave to do this and have everybody fucking coming at you. So go Candace. All right. Oh, YouTube, my bad. All right. Here we go. This is Candace on tracking all the lies Erika has been caught in.
Okay. One, Superman neck.
Sorry, Candace,
that was the beginning of this entire
showing
thing when the
your page.
entire
I hope I don't
world
get copyright.
snapped into the recognition that something was very wrong. Andrew Colvett, she heard the story and she said that Andrew Colvett and the surgeon went rogue. That's not true. The reality is her and Andrew called the doctor together, three-way call, on the day of Charlie's funeral. And the Superman quote came from Erika. Okay, he didn't violate HIPAA, nor did I ever for a moment believe that he did. I could have maybe believed that Andrew Colvett went rogue tweeting something. I definitely...
Well, the first time that they said that, I was like, who in the hell ever let anybody say that? What a ridiculous thing to say. Superman bones? Are you kidding me? Like, it makes more sense now that Erika said it. Let me just let it play.
Did not believe that the surgeon just spoke to a PR agent without Erika's permission. Number two, she told us that Charlie did not text anyone the night before in fear for his life. That's what she told Glenn Beck.
The first thing you would do is go through your husband's phone after he died. Every woman knows that that's the first thing we would do. We wanted to know what happened. You would go through every square inch of that phone.
The reality, I have his phone. That never happened. The reality is that Charlie texted both Andrew Colvett and Dan Flood the night before, saying that he feared he was going to be killed after he was engaged.
And she first lied by saying, oh, well, then she tried to explain away her lie by going, oh, it must not, I guess I missed it because it's not in his iMessages, which was a lie. It was in his iMessages. She knew it was there. She didn't want anyone finding that out. And Erika really, honestly, is not the brightest bulb in the box. I don't see her as a CEO. If you really think that these lies are believable, you are a fucking ding dong, for real. I'm sorry to be so cruel, but like, oh, I didn't know. It's gonna fucking come out. Like the misdirection, truth always comes out. And the fact that she tried to lie about her lie, that's what liars do. That's what liars do. And she's not even good at it. She's terrible at it. That's why I say she's not a very bright bulb.
In a discussion about him removing his support from Israel, and after he then had to have this call with a rabbi dead in the middle of the night while the rabbi was in Israel and Josh Hammer, and they're telling us he just wanted tips on how to debate. And then, of course, he got tips on how to debate and was super happy, but then said they're going to kill me. That all feels wrong and weird.
Yeah, because Charlie needs tips on how to debate. The king of debating in the most chivalrous, gentlemanly way is somehow all of a sudden worried about that. Doesn't track.
Or 3 even builds upon that lie, because then we were told, well, the reason for that is because Dan Flood and Andrew Colbert messaged him on a third-party app, and that's why I didn't know that was set for deletion. Well, the reality, as I broke to you all the other day, is that Dan Flood actually messaged him on iMessage.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
If you're Tyler Robinson's defense, you may want to get that text message. Has anybody,
Of
we should be
course they
subpoenaing
don't
those
want
text
to,
messages.
'cause
I
everyone
really
was in on
would love
it.
to see all of Charlie's text messages the night before, see how friendly these conversations really were and how he was actually feeling about certain things. We go on. Mikey called me within seconds. The reality is Mikey called Elizabeth first. For some reason, she was completely rinsed out of the story, Elizabeth McCoy. And then they conference called Erika over 3 minutes later. She said he called me within seconds. Okay, maybe she thought that. We can give her a little bit of an inch there.
That I could see how she'd fuck up because, once the plan's been executed, everything's flying fast and blah, blah, blah. But still, it's important.
Very strange that Erika did not know that Andrew's wife was aboard the plane to Utah with Andrew, because Andrew said that when he landed in Provo, he and Erika collapsed into one another's arms. And when I asked the question whether or not he flew with his wife, Erika was unable or unwilling to answer. And they said they would get back to me. And then they got back to me after our meeting and said, yes, Andrew's wife was on the plane with him. And I just thought, well, that's interesting, because I didn't tell them. I held that.
I want to know why they would lie about that. Why do they need to hide that? I'm curious to figure out how Andrew's wife comes into play, because why would they need to lie and keep her? Like, what? I just don't. That connection, I would want to know more about.
Card that Andrew told me that Erika and him collapsed in each other's arms on the tarmac. Also strange is that she waited an hour on the tarmac for Andrew's Colvette's plane to land. That feels very wrong to me.
Dude, God himself would not be able to keep me from the side of my husband. I would be booking it to that straight to the fucking hospital. I'm not thinking about nobody else. I'm thinking about my husband. I ain't thinking about nobody else. I'm thinking about getting to where my fucking husband is so I can help make decisions, see if his life can be saved. I ain't trying to dilly-dally. Like, where's the urgency?
Now, this, some might call this splitting hairs. I don't, as somebody who's written a book. Charlie told Megyn Kelly that he was writing a book currently. He said, I am currently writing a book about the Jewish Sabbath, right? Erika, then when she went on her tour, kind of illuminated to the public how he had finished the book in July.
Yeah, AI probably finished it for them. Trying to look like that's bullshit. If anybody been following Charlie knows he was Christian. This whole thing about practicing the Sabbath and all that stuff. Give me a fucking break. Give me a break. Yeah, I think they had AI or whatever. They finished the book and they slanted it, in favor of the juice boxes.
Okay, now that's a month difference. But I don't think that if you had finished your book in July, that you would say the exact sentence to Megyn Kelly, I am currently writing a book about the Sabbath.
No, he wouldn't have. Charlie was an honest person.
Again, it's a minor detail. Kind of want to harp on that minor detail because there's something that felt very strange to me about that being kind of the first PR push.
Yeah.
Charlie was a Christian, but we're going to talk about this. And I promise, he finished this book. This was all him. He wrote the last chapter. Well, why didn't he say to Megyn Kelly, I just finished a book. I just finished writing a book about the Sabbath.
So if you're Christian, your day of rest is Sunday, because that's the day you give to God. That's your day of rest. Not Friday. That's Jewish custom. Since when? He never fucking spoke about that. I think she's right on it. I think her sniffer is good. I think I would really be curious to see if she'll start to tie in the pageantry and the orphanage or whatever that was over in Europe, because I think there's a lot there with the pageantry. I sent her a message in hopes she would like look at it. I know it's probably slim to none. The woman's probably bombarded with, I mean, I'm a small influencer and I have thousands of DMs, so I'm sure she wouldn't see mine. But I sent her something that is really, really compelling when it comes to pageantry and her and Epstein. And I think there's a link there. I think there might be a link there, but you never know. I could be wrong. All right, last two videos. I'm sticking on the Erika thing because I personally can't freaking stand her. I didn't know who she was until Charlie died, and I just didn't like her based off the vibes. It just wasn't tracking for me, and I could see how much she was lying. So I'm on it. Let's go with the next video. Oh, so the title of this video is Erika Kirk's Wild History of Fame Seeking Behavior. That is part of what I kind of was talking about with the pageantry and Hollywood. And, you know, so there is this apparatus in Hollywood where if you're striving to be a star and it's not working out for you in some areas, but, you know, you're a good reality star person, okay, D-list actress, here's a job for you. You can do this level of acting, but this level of acting is going to involve you pretending all day long. But you can do it because you're on a reality show. So you're going to have to pretend to be Charlie's wife, and we're going to take over his company, and we're going to do all this stuff and get all these churches involved in our Jewish cause and blah, 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 Zionist causes, blah, 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 blah. I just think there's a lot there. And, you know, it takes time, takes dedicated research to put it all together. Everything's a conspiracy until it's not, right? But I take issue with that term, conspiracy theory. You have to conspire to commit a crime. It's a conspiracy. When you conspire, you're planning. I hate how that word has become a derogatory thing. But anyway, let's go.
So whether you like it or not, more and more people are growing suspicious of Erika Kirk. Here's how Andy Frisella
Finally.
says it.
It's my opinion, okay, that her and that dude were involved in this whole thing with Charlie Kirk getting murdered.
Yep. We'll hear more of Andy's opinion, and what's an absolute fact is Erika Kirk has displayed repetitive patterns in the past of fame and attention-seeking behavior, and now she is in a major position of fame and power. I'll show you what I mean. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my freedom-loving friend. This is where we help spread the light of truth and freedom because truth conquers. Now, insert, and genuinely so, all praise and honoring of Charlie Kirk, 100%. That needs to be restated. Seems like as a society, we kind of forgot that. That's the most important part. And what we won't stand for, however, is, well, you know, Erika Kirk, she's a grieving widow, so you can't ask questions that deserve to be asked. Nope, we don't play that game in my household where we can't talk about things because someone's feelings might get hurt. Yep. Because the truth is, sometimes people will play that card in order to hide things. Yep. We do truth-seeking in my household. Now, there's been some stuff come out about Erika Kirk, just blatantly factual stuff. An Amazing Race audition tape. I'll walk you through a few things. In this video, I'm not even going to touch like outrageous, unsubstantiated claims that some are putting out about Erika Kirk. Some of those might be true, some might be false. Maybe they're all false. I don't know. We're not even going to touch those. But one thing we can say for sure, if you got any common sense, about Erika Kirk is she's weird. Yeah. Really weird behavior for a grieving widow in the sense of walking out to pyrotechnics, starting speaking.
Yeah, it's like she's Lady Diana. It's like she's like, what's happening here? They're idolizing the woman. They're idolizing her, trying to present her as like Mother Teresa or Mary Magdalene or whatever. It's like the wife of Christ. And it's just so crazy to me.
Tours, I mean, within days, if not a week, after her husband's death, photos like this.
Also, I thought you were a trad wife, but like you're gonna accept the CEO position and like not be a trad wife anymore, like the second your husband's dead. So did you just lie to him and pretend you were a trad wife the whole time? And now you're just like, yay, I get to be somebody now. And like, where are her kids? And and that photo that she presented via Andrew Colvette, where her finger is covering up the kids, where she was like saying I was at home with my family for dinner or something like that, and here are my kids. Did you notice the ages of the kids were swapped? The boy was older and the girl was I don't remember which one is actually older, but I do know when I referenced the ages of her kids, the ages of her kids were swapped.
It just kind of like, this is weird. This isn't to say, hey, if a significant loved one of yours dies, you're not allowed to smile for a year. It's not to say that. But it is to say this is a person who puts herself in front of cameras.
I was right. So the son is the younger one, but in the photo, it looked like the boy was older and the girl was much smaller. Super weird. I don't know if people freaking pick up on the stuff I pick up on, but I was like, this has all been engineered, man. This is not, his life was not real, and I think he figured that out.
Regularly, and normal behavior would be, I am a grieving widow, so I'll kind of do mostly that rather than like, hey, here's this camera, and would it be cooler if I'm just doing a big thumbs up and smile with fireworks going off behind me and a video playing? That's weird. A mother with a couple young children.
Even Jesus himself got angry with his disciples when they dropped down to the ground to worship him. He said, "Stop that! Don't worship me. I'm a human being. You worship God." They are worshiping this woman.
Deceased husband. If I was that mother, and I'm not, but this is my reference point. If I was, I would want to do nothing but be with my children.
Exactly.
Nothing else.
Exactly.
You and that camera, piss off. Running a company.
And that's a good human right there.
Piss off. So whether you like it or not, more and more people are.
Do you guys remember seeing that video of Erika Kirk where she was ziplining in some promo for some music video? Did you notice the time said 9:10? It was either a time or a date. It was a time. That is how you know everything that happened is divine. That's one of the clues. Remember, follow the clues. Coincidences are not real. It was a foretelling, foreshadowing that only the spiritually astute would pick up on. But it was an omen right there. Timeline, quantum physics. Okay, study quantum physics. You'll know what I'm talking about. What are we in? TikTok? All right, last video before I announce fan of the day, and you will get my autographed lipstick kiss show notes mailed to you. Producer Ryan will send it to you. Make sure you message producer Ryan on Instagram, ryan.lopez86, or you can email us at thirsttrapnews@gmail.com, and we will get that out to you. So stay tuned if you want to win fan of the day. But let's get on to our next video. Erika's leaked Zoom call.
Yep, there you go.
Oh, look at all the thumbs up. Look how cute that is. Probably Charlie would be reacting. How sweet.
For context, this was only 5.5 days after Charlie died, and she's like, you didn't see a smile on my face. I don't even know how long. In fact, I went to the bottom of a bottle for 2 years when my son died. I don't like to admit that, but I'm a human being, and I was 24 years old when that happened, and I did not handle it well. And I just, you wouldn't see me acting like this. It's just crazy.
I didn't know they could do that.
No, look it. I hate Zoom.
Sorry, you guys.
Sorry, guys. Oh, excuse me.
I just wanted to say,
Sorry,
first
guys.
and foremost, my heart obviously is broken.
Oh, clearly we
You
can
guys,
tell.
As much as it is for our family, you guys lost not only a boss, but someone that you
I'm sorry, but I would be being selfish. I wouldn't even be thinking about other people and they're grieving over my husband because it was my husband. I'm sorry. I'm just saying it.
looked up to, someone that you believed in his mission, that you also that you loved. You loved listening to his show.
If you guys do need anything, please reach out to whoever you know to reach out to, and pray with one another. Be there.
Obligatory
with
tissue dab.
And one another. Everyone grieves differently, so if someone's acting weird, don't read into that. Weddings and funerals bring out the weirdest
Another
side
tissue
of
dab,
people.
no tears.
anyone who's been married knows that.
What does that
So
even
don't
mean?
read
Hold on,
into
hold on, hold
that.
on, hold on.
Just go, and pray with one another. Be there with one another. Be soft with one another. Everyone grieves differently. So if someone's acting weird, don't read into that. Weddings and funerals bring out the weirdest side in people.
What? Weddings bring out the weirdest in people? What? I'm sorry. I've been to 100 weddings. Everybody was having a grand old time. Celebrating the couple. I think she just did a Freudian slip there. I think what she said was they were having trouble in their marriage, and anyone who's married knows that, because how did that even come into play with funerals and weddings? Like, yeah, the bride and groom may have some nerves, but like, what is she talking about?
Anyone who's been married knows that. So don't
What?
read into that. Just love on each other.
AKA, don't judge me, folks, for how I'm acting. Just a little subtle psych plant there for you. Just move along.
Deep breaths. Usha, I just want to share this with you all. I asked her when we were on the tarmac. I said, I don't know.
Oh, is this the famous
how to
15
get
minutes at a
through
time
this.
thing?
And she said, you know, when you're on an airplane, and some of you have kids will really relate to this. Others that don't, you've been on a plane with kids, so you can also relate to this. But she said, when you're on an airplane and you're 15 minutes before landing and the kids are going crazy and you have 15 minutes left on the plane and they're throwing their toys and they're screaming and you're thinking to yourself, am I going to make it through these next 15 minutes? And then the plane lands. And Usha said, you're going to make it through those next 15 minutes. And the next 15 minutes.
Okay, Erika.
And so I just want to share that with you.
For
'cause
what?
It was a very private moment.
What, because the rest of
but
rest of your employees need to just make it through every 15 minutes?
It gave me some peace to know that we can just do this 15 minutes at a time.
I'm sorry,
So if
I'm
that
being a
means at
hater.
work when you're feeling a little bit sad, take those 15 minutes and you'll be okay.
Okay, Erika,
We're all
thank
gonna
you
be
for
okay.
permission.
I love you guys. And we're going to make sure that we honor my husband so well at this whole world.
Yeah, by setting up a morbidly, freakishly disgusting tint replica of where he died so you can take pictures with it. Ugh, barf, gross, nasty.
Was what his vision was and will be. And it's just, I feel so blessed.
Yeah, because you made $250 million off of his death.
I have a great meeting. Is there anything else that you need? Okay, it's good. You guys are loved. Love this little film on the birds. It's so cute. So sweet. God bless you all.
Blessed and honored.
There's Candace.
That is crazy work as adjectives. I mean, I don't really know what to say.
Yeah, there you go.
Did you guys see the video where Charlie was introducing her as his fiance and she just was just so mortified to do it? And then there was another video after they'd been married where she couldn't remember when they got married, how long they had been together. I was like, what woman ever forgets when you got married and how long you've been married? Girl, you ain't bright. You're a really bad liar, and I think they did a bad job picking you to do this job because I don't think they anticipated Candace Owens diving in, not believing the narrative, and doing this investigation. I think Candace is the sole reason why all these lies are unraveling and look so weak because they've been trying to explain their lies pretty weakly. Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a hater, but it's just so obvious to me. It's so obvious to me. And just me knowing the reality of like social engineering, spies, honeypots. There are literally spies from other countries married to celebrities that are Hollywood starlets that you know of. So the fact that we think, oh, it's not possible. Yeah. You haven't been paying attention. All right. Fan of the day. Who is going to be fan of the day? Yes, Jack, I agree. She seems fake because this has all been there's a lot more to this, I think. I think there's a lot more involvement, or at least she has some knowledge. And I think the money is what people will do for money. What people will do for money. I mean, we've known people to sell out their own mamas for much less than $250 million. We've heard about celebrities sacrificing their mothers and family members for fame. So it's a real thing. Okay. I think who's going to win Fan of the Day is going to be Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy with my middle namesake. Johnny Boy with a 0. So congratulations, Johnny. I'm super glad to have seen so many of you come over to Rumble. Meta World is discriminatory against me. They're throttling me because, truth is just so infectious. But all right, that is the end of my show. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. And I will be back at it tomorrow with another show. This one went a little long because I've been MIA for a week, and I am so sorry about that. But I couldn't communicate with you guys because Instagram has me unable to message. So, we make do. Producer Ryan sent out a message to everyone on my behalf that I'd be on the Rumble platform. So I'm going to be just doing Rumble only for the next minimum week. But you might as well start getting used to coming over there, because come March 1st, I will not be using Meta, the evil overlords, to broadcast my show. Rumble does a good job of protecting free speech, and I really want to support Rumble. And Rumble just has a lot of fun features. I need to get a soundboard, for my lunar ants. That would be ideal. But Data and Pocket, you're welcome, Data. Pocket, thank you for coming through. I'm about to send all of you lovely lunatics, my Luna Legion, over to Cyberpunk. And I hope you guys have a blessed night. Remember, don't get too caught up with all the world burning down. What you got to do right now is draw closer to God than you've ever drawn before. Talk to him like your friend. Bare your soul. Talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and clean your life up. It's worth it. Look at what is going on. Jesus said, set yourself apart from the world. So make sure you do that. Nobody is perfect. You're not going to be a perfect model citizen, but God doesn't require perfection. He requires your heart just having the desire to have that exchange of love between you and him, because your higher power is what keeps you guided when everything is burning to the ground. That's your lighthouse. Before we go, let me show you my merch, which is up on Fourth Wall at real-luna-lopez-shop.fourthwall.com. There's a lot of cool stuff. There's exclusive line that you're seeing here for my OGs. It says hashtag Luna Legion, hashtag Day Oneers, hashtag OGs. And then there's a few drinking apparatuses you can get with a little bit of sass on it. You also have my face on some of them. So that's about as close as your lips will ever get to mine. So if you want that, get a mug. And there's some hats and hoodies, and I don't know. I got to recruit someone to do some merch for me. But anyway, there you go. real-luna-lopez-shop.fourthwall.com. All right. I love you guys. I'm sending you guys to another show. Auf Wiedersehen. I bid you adieu.